Have you ever been so completely stressed out, anxious, and depressed that just the idea of cleaning up your house seems absolutely impossible? That is how I've been feeling this last week. We have had a incredibly stressful week. My dad ended up in the hospital, and I kind of stopped doing everything to be there with him and to help take care of his animals that he still has at home. Now, over the last couple of years, I've gotten into a lot of really good habits of ways to keep my house clean with minimal effort. And a big part of that has just been decluttering a huge amount of stuff that we had that was unnecessary. But in times like these, when I'm feeling really overwhelmed and I think my body just kind of shuts down in some ways, I get really physically tired and exhausted. And once kind of like that fight or flight moment has passed, where thankfully now he is on the road to recovery. And there was a couple of days where I did not think he was going to make it out of the hospital. It was terrifying. If you've been here before, you'll know that my mother just passed away last May, and he went into the hospital in May. So I was really scared of losing him, especially a year after losing my mom. So I did ask for her help in keeping him here with us a bit longer, and there was a lot of prayers from a lot of people. Now, I'm not religious, but I will always take prayers, and it seems to have worked. He is thankfully on the road to recovery and hopefully will be home pretty soon. But when I feel like this, for some reason, my body just almost shuts down. So it was really hard for me even this day to actually get started. So what I did was I told myself, okay, I'm going to do one room at a time. If I'm too tired or if I just don't feel like I can keep going, I'm going to give myself permission to stop and come back to it later. I was able to get most of what I wanted to get done, thankfully, but it was a lot slower than typical. And like I said, I just kind of did one room at a time. So if you're feeling like this right now, I'm sorry that you're feeling this way. It is a horrible way to feel. And if you want to just use this as motivation to go ahead and clean alongside with me, or if you just want to watch and give yourself some motivation, I hopefully this will help you a little bit. But it's just a terrible way to feel. And it's okay, I think, sometimes to give ourselves some grace to not always get everything done when we're not feeling well. Now, the day before I recorded this video, I had actually gone over to his house and cleaned his house for him. That way it was ready for him for when he came home and he didn't have to worry about it. I was planning to add that into this video, but it just made it too long. So I am going to make a separate video of cleaning up his apartment for him, getting him ready to come back from the hospital. So that will probably be out later this week as well. Now, the purpose of this day was really just to get a lot of things picked up, even when it's like it was very messy to me, especially now that the house is fairly clean most of the time. But just a kind of a week of not really picking up the kitchen. I do tend to clean up the countertops throughout the week because I was still cooking and things like that. My son just graduated this past weekend as well. That's a little picture of him. I was just pulling out his like the booklet that they give you at the graduation. So I threw one of them away and I'm going to keep one, but he just had his college graduation, so I'm super proud of him. But that was kind of all in the middle of my dad being in the hospital. So it's just been a really stressful week, for sure, but also very happy for him that he actually made it through college. And again, he's moving away in just a couple of months to Pennsylvania for a new internship there. So he'll be gone for about 2 years. Hopefully he will decide to come home after that, but the plan is for him to be gone for about 2 years. Now, the goal of this day was really just to get some of the things picked up. Luckily, because for the most part, everything now has a home, it's a lot easier to clean up the house. Where in the past I used to make little piles everywhere because I never really knew where to put things, and they also didn't always have a place to go. The one thing that I'm struggling with is these jars. So I do a lot of canning. We have a lot of home canned foods that we do use, and we also drink from these mason jars. So these are our drinking glasses and our canning jars. So the problem is when I use up some of our home canned food, our cabinet is now so full again of drinking glasses, which I really desperately need to go through and kind of declutter that area again because it's gotten a little bit out of control. But now I also don't have a place to store these empty jars. So I'm just trying to come up with a solution. They've been here now for a few weeks and it's driving me absolutely crazy. I think when I look at the kitchen and this is what I see, this is what gives me some anxiety about it too, just because it's like a big pile of stuff that I don't know what to do with. So I think I'm either going to get some Tupperware bins or something just to store them in. I think over the summer I will be doing more canning. It's just been so hectic these last few months. Trying to find the time to actually can has been a little bit difficult, but I am definitely going to continue doing it, so I'm not ready to let go of the jars. I also have a few other areas in the house that I do keep empty jars, and those are full. I also wanted to say thank you to those of you who recommend that we get this, like the paw cleaner for the dogs. I forget what it's called. It's Paws Buddy or something. I don't remember what it's called. I'll try to find it on Amazon. But thank you to those of you that suggested that. We had tried something different in the past. It did not work, and I decided to give this another chance, and this one works amazing. It's all silicone. It doesn't hurt his paws at all when we put them in there, and it cleans them really, really well after coming in from outside. So the purpose of today's cleaning is not to do everything to perfection. I'm not doing any super deep cleaning. I really just wanted to get things tidied back up, everything wiped down, because even just seeing like dust and little balls of dog hair on the floor can make the house look and feel just really cluttered and dirty. And when it feels like that, I don't feel good. I just feel much better in the house when it's all put back together, clean, organized. That is when I feel my best. I'm able to relax. I'm able to just feel better overall in the house. So it was important that I was able to get this done. But again, I just said one room at a time. A couple times throughout the day, I did sit down for a few minutes just to give myself a little break. And then at one point, you're going to see later, before I even got to the front porch, I didn't actually think I was going to be able to finish that. I sat down, I let myself have a little bit of lunch, watch a show on Netflix, and then I was going to be done for the day. I was going to go shower and get cleaned up for the day, but I ended up going out and getting the porch done. And again, it wasn't to perfection. It wasn't about that. It was just about cleaning it up good enough so that when I walked out there several times a day, either to take my dog out or to go let my dad's dogs out, that I wasn't just like tripping over a bunch of stuff on the front porch because it drives me crazy. So even when you don't do things 100%, sometimes it's just enough to do it good enough for that time period. I think soon I'm going to make a little shopping trip and maybe run over to Walmart and maybe a few other stores and start gathering some stuff for my son to take with him when he leaves. I know that a big part of moving out is kind of getting all of your own stuff, which he will do. He's going to be starting work about a month after he gets there. He wants to be there for about a month first and get settled, kind of get to know the city a little bit, get to know the area that he's going to be living in. So I was thinking about just going out and buying him a few little things. That way he doesn't have to worry about it when he first gets there. Maybe like some plates, bowls, cups, silverware. I have a ton of cleaning supplies. I'll probably just put a little box together. That way he has something to start with. When he first gets there, he won't have to worry about that right away. I'm not even sure how he's going to be actually living like right in the city. So I'm not really sure like what kind of stores are around him. Also, the other thing is right now, his car broke down a few months ago. He ended up selling it. The engine was bad, so it was just going to cost too much money for us to buy a new engine and all that. It really wouldn't have been worth it. So he just bought a motorcycle, which is terrifying if you are the parent of someone with a motorcycle, especially a 22-year-old. But so far, he's been really responsible with it. He's got all this safety gear and all that kind of stuff, and he's just been trying to drive locally. He is working a job for a few months before he moves away. So he's been, really just needing a way to get to work and just to get around. So it's unclear whether he's going to take the motorcycle with him. I kind of don't think he's going to. I don't really know yet, though, what he's going to do. Again, because he's going to be living in the city, hopefully there'll be a little bit better transportation as far as buses and things like that, or maybe he can walk. I'm really not sure. I've never been there. And then he's just going to order some new furniture and things like that once he gets there and just have it delivered. So it's a really exciting time. I'm kind of excited to get some stuff ready for him to go. That way, at least he's starting off on the right foot. And then, of course, he can continue buying things once he's there. So if you have any ideas, if you've had to do that for your children at all, I would love to hear some ideas of maybe some things that you got them to get them sent off on the right foot. So my plan was to get the kitchen picked up, get the counters cleaned, get the sinks cleaned, and then I had gone to the store the previous day and bought a bunch of fruit, which I usually like to wash right away, but I just didn't have the energy that day. That was the day that I cleaned my dad's house. So I just wanted to take out the fruit and at least get that soaking. Since the kitchen was cleaned, I could get that soaking and then start in my bedroom. And then I also wanted to clean out the fridge, which I did end up going back to do a little bit later in the video. So I always feel like once you get the fruit home, or vegetables for that matter, it's important to soak them in a vinegar soak. And I think it just kills any of the bacteria or whatever might be living on the fruit. That way it lasts longer in the refrigerator. Plus, my family is more willing to eat it. If it's all cleaned and ready to go, they can just dump it into a bowl and enjoy it that way. Otherwise, it tends to go bad if I don't wash it beforehand. If you've watched any of my recent videos, you might have heard me talking about a trip that I was going to be taking to Colorado for a work convention. It's a huge convention that's done every year in different places around the country for critical care nurses, and I was planning to leave on Sunday, but obviously with my dad being so sick in the hospital, I canceled that trip to make sure that I was here for him just in case anything happened. Obviously, I'm a little sad that I missed the trip, but it's more important to me to be here for him in case anything were to happen, or I didn't really know what was going on at that point and how he was going to do. So I just wanted to make sure that I was here for anything that might have happened. I was already fully packed for the trip. You're going to see in my bedroom, I have my suitcase and I was completely packed and ready to go. I had actually gone shopping and bought some new outfits and things like that, but I bought them for this trip and for the trip that we're taking over the summer. We are going to a resort in the summer. So at least I have them for that. But now I still have to unpack my suitcase, which I just did not get to on this day. You're going to see in a little bit later that the suitcase is still there with everything still in it. That is just going to be another day. Honestly, right now my closet is just so overloaded. I really need to go back through, switch out some of the winter stuff for more of the spring and summer clothes. So that'll probably just be another video in itself because I just didn't have the time today to get that done. There's my suitcase. I borrowed it from my son. I had bought a little neck pillow, but it's fine. We'll do other trips throughout our years and we'll have this stuff to do that. It's totally fine. I do feel bad because it was a trip that was completely paid for by work. So somebody else, maybe could have gone, but obviously everything happened around the same time, so there just wasn't time. And I also bought this, it's like a little backpack for traveling. So I don't travel much. I've only been on an airplane one time in my life. And I was told that you're allowed to bring your carry-on suitcase and like a personal bag, like a suitcase like that. So I had bought the suitcase. That way I would just have enough room, even though it was only for 5 days. I just wanted to make sure I pretty much was able to fit everything in the suitcase, but there was just a few things that I still wouldn't have been able to fit. So I bought that, and then it'll work out for the trip over the summer either way. So this little chest that I have in the bedroom tends to get a little bit cluttered. I had done some of my husband's laundry and I just hadn't had time to put it away, so I was just doing that really quick. And we are still planning to change rooms with my son. It just always seems like something is happening where we haven't been able to actually make that happen yet, but that is still the plan. And I like to fold my husband's shirts like this and just put them on the rack, as you'll see in a second here. Works out pretty good. It makes a little bit more room for everything. It keeps everything pretty neat and organized. But I will have a different system once we change rooms because my son has a bigger closet than we do. So I was thinking about maybe picking up some IKEA closets and putting them into, it's a little bit of a deeper closet. I think that'll work out pretty nicely, but we'll see. So I'm just trying to get like the surfaces pretty cleared off. Again, it just makes me feel better when I go to sleep at night that everything is cleared off, and it just helps clear my mind for the night. Perfectionism used to really hold me up quite a bit, I think, with cleaning, organizing, decluttering, any of that kind of thing. I always thought if I can't do it 100%, then there's no point in doing it, but that's obviously so wrong. Even just doing things good enough is so much better than not getting them done at all. Obviously, I didn't do like the windows or the blinds or anything in the room, but I was able to clear off the major surfaces, get the rug vacuumed, and put some stuff back in order just to feel better for the most part. While I had the vacuum out, I figured I should just do the living room rug as well. And then I'm also going to go ahead and just do a quick vacuum in the kitchen to get everything tidied up on the floor. It honestly amazes me every time how much stuff comes out of the vacuum. I empty it after every use, and even though the floors don't look that bad, whew, okay, here's that first set of towels that I threw in the wash at the beginning. Here's the bedroom. Again, not 100% perfect, but at least now, I mean, we have such a small bedroom that any kind of clutter on the floors or on the surfaces makes it feel really, really claustrophobic. So just getting all that stuff cleared off helped a huge amount. Here's all the fruit laid out to dry. I find that this is the best way to do it. And then again, even though I just clean the kitchen, it seems like it's never ending. There's always something else that gets added to it, especially if you're someone who cooks or bakes a lot. The kitchen's always a mess. This is a little trick that I learned on YouTube. It was a short, I think. Someone was saying that their towel always fell off. So all you do is you add a rubber band to the back there if you have a larger towel holder, and then you just put your towel in between the holder and the rubber band, and it stays in place until you take it off. It is amazing. I have been getting my family to use the towel instead of paper towels, like to dry their hands and things like that. So I change it every couple of days. But this is something that's so great, it no longer falls on the floor every time one of the kids uses it. Now I figured it was time to open up the fridge, clear it out. I haven't even gone shopping other than that one day that I went and I just got some fruit and yogurt. I really didn't get much else. So I wanted to come in here before I went grocery shopping and at least wipe everything down. I did it the easy, lazy way, just taking things off shelf by shelf, wiping everything down really quick, and just kind of clearing out a couple things that may have gone bad. The cottage cheese had gone bad, so I had to throw that away. And then I had just little bits of vegetables left, which I ended up cooking that night for dinner. I had seen this recipe on YouTube. Someone had made it. So basically all it is you can throw all of your leftover vegetables that you might have like in the refrigerator. So I had green beans, I had Brussels sprouts, asparagus, and a little bit of spinach left. So I threw all that together in a baking dish in the oven with boursin cheese, put some tin foil on it, baked it about 400 for about 30 minutes, and it was so delicious. I will definitely be buying that cheese again. I had never bought it before. And I had never tried the recipe. I had bought the cheese a few weeks ago, and I wasn't really sure when I was going to use it, but I really wanted to clear out all the vegetables. There wasn't enough of each of them to make separately for dinner, so I added them all together, and it came out really, really good. I also wanted to take a second to just let you know that I am trying really hard to be more consistent with getting a video out every week. It's just been really challenging between work and my dad and just life happening. But I really am trying to get a video out every week for you guys. Just know that I am trying my best, and hopefully I will become more consistent as time goes on, but I am still trying. So please just know that, and I do appreciate those of you who come back and watch my videos every time. It means so much to me. I truly appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would love if you could do that. It really does help, and I find that a lot of my videos are getting shown on other channels that really don't have anything to do with my channel, so I'm not sure why that is, but if you feel like you would like to share it with someone who might enjoy it, I would really appreciate that as well. All right, so here is the refrigerator, nice and clean and ready to go grocery shopping. Again, I ended up using all those vegetables. This is what I had for lunch. I had a little bit of the egg roll in a bowl left with some rice, which is what I made for my lunch. And here's the fruit I'll put away. I took a few minutes to come over to the entryway. Again, we are working on getting this put back together, but it just seems like there's always something going on that I don't have time to do what I want to do. But it is slowly coming together. The bench has been working out, and I would really love to be able to add some stuff to the breezeway. So maybe we could put some of our shoes out there, especially the shoes that get really dirty. Like if my husband is out in the yard working, or the kids, they come in with their muddy, dirty shoes, and it drives me crazy. But on the porch, some of the windows don't have glass over them. So anytime my husband does yard work or it rains or anything, we get some kind of dirt and water into the breezeway. So it makes it really hard to store things out there. I was thinking about maybe buying some like Roman blinds or something for it to maybe protect some of that from coming in. So if you have something like that, let me know if it does work to keep some of the dirt out, because I would really like to put like a shoe rack out there as well and let them put some of their stuff out there. But the bench has been working. This little bag there I ended up getting for Nurses Week at work. What a great gift. But I am donating that. I have enough. I have a lunch bag that I use every day. My kids have lunch bags. We just don't need it. So I'm going to donate that. And then this is some stuff that my son, one thing that he needs to return, a book to school, and some of the other stuff there was stuff for his motorcycle that he still needs to put on, like his phone holder and things like that. So it just kind of was sitting here for a couple days. I cleared all that off, and I'm trying to keep more plants alive. Someone had sent me that plant on the anniversary of my mother's death from work. So I've kept that alive for a couple of weeks now, and I'm hoping to start getting some more live plants. So here's the entryway, again, picked up. At least when we walk in, it looks pretty clean and much better to walk into. Here's the time that I was getting tired. I sat down with my lunch and watched Bridgerton. I have to say that I like the show. I mean, I absolutely love the show, but I'm not that crazy about this third season. It just doesn't seem quite as good as the other two, but I'm only 3 episodes in. I'm sure it'll get better, but I'm still enjoying it, and it was nice to sit down. I was actually going to stop for the day, but when I walked past the breezeway to go do some laundry, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go out and spend a few minutes out here because it was driving me crazy. My husband was and the kids and my in-laws were all out this weekend doing a bunch of yard work. I was so appreciative of them to come over and get that stuff done with us. But the porch became like the dumping ground for a lot of stuff. I had taken some stuff out of my car that had to go back into the car. There were hoses out there. Some of the stuff my son got when he bought his motorcycle, it was like extra parts and things like that. That's what that box is along the wall. It's like extra parts for his motorcycle. So I'm not really sure what he wants to do with those. I'd like to get them off the porch, but we'll see. And actually, a few weeks ago, I had come through. This porch was a complete disaster. All of the Tupperwares that I had gotten out of the basement that I put in a video a long time ago were actually sitting on the porch. So inside that cabinet, that yellow cabinet there, which my dad built for us when we first moved into the house about 14 years ago, he built that for us to have some storage. He put the tile down. It's lasted a long time, but this porch, like I said, it does get beat up. We're always coming in and out of here, and the water sometimes comes in if it's raining really hard. So, I mean, some of the floor probably needs to be redone, but at least it's still holding up. I'd like to come out here and paint. I was thinking about just painting everything white just to kind of brighten it up a little bit. But anyways, my main goal was just to kind of get things out of the middle of the floor, picked up a little bit, swept. I did have a rug out here, which when I cleaned a few weeks ago, I ended up throwing the rug away because I just thought it was easier to keep clean if I could just keep a broom out here just for this area. It would make it a lot easier to quickly come out, sweep up the area so everyone wasn't tracking the dirt into the house. Whereas with the rug, I would have had to come out and vacuum, which honestly, I didn't want my vacuum sucking up all this stuff that was out here. So that cabinet really does work out to store things in. When I was out here a few weeks ago, I used all those bins to kind of categorize everything that we wanted to store out there. So I'll show you that in just a second. But again, my goal was just to get things off the middle of the floor, get it swept up, and there's a bunch of cans that my son and I need to go return. He loves going with me to return the cans because I always give him usually half of the money. So here it is. It's picked up enough that I feel better about it. There's the cans that we need to return. That's some flooring that I actually picked up off Facebook Marketplace that we're going to use when we redo the bathroom. And here's the picture of my son and his motorcycle. Oh my goodness, terrifying. But here's the cabinet. Nice and organized. I used all those bins, so they really did come in handy. I was almost just going to put them all out front, but then I was like, you know what, let me just see if I can find a use for them. And it was nice to categorize everything a little bit neater in these cabinets to keep everything in order and much more organized. All those tennis balls I actually bought from Facebook a few years ago. They're used tennis balls, and I bought them like super, super cheap, and my dog absolutely loves them. We use them up until, they get so gross from outside we can't use them anymore and we get rid of them. We also took down our playscape this weekend. It was from the kids. It was old, so it was nice to get that out of the yard. We also took our pool down. I will put up some clips of the pool and kind of the process, but it's nice to see spring. Spring is here. So this is from several weeks ago. My husband and son were out there taking the pool down. We ended up letting someone come and take that for scrap metal. The kids just weren't swimming in it anymore. It wasn't deep enough for them, so we decided to take it down. It's kind of sad for me, but I was the one that went out and cleaned it all the time, and they weren't using it, so really it was just time to get it out of the yard. So I'm going to show you these clips and then more of when the pool is actually down. My sister-in-law and brother-in-law are taking the deck. They're just going to take it down and kind of fix it up a little bit and use it for their pool that they just got this year. So here's the pool down, and then I will show you in just a second what it looks like with the deck mostly torn apart. Memorial Day weekend, the plan is to get the rest of the deck down, and it does feel nice to have the yard back for sure. This is the area that I would like to put my garden in. I haven't done anything with gardening yet so far this year. I just haven't had the time to even start it, but this is the area that gets sun all day long, so I actually want to fully start planting my garden in this area. I think it's going to be beautiful once it's done. My husband started a big bonfire to get everything burnt up in the yard. It pretty much went a good portion of the night, but it's nice to get all that stuff burned and nice to have the yard back as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you hopefully next week. Bye.